What is happening in the Denver metro real estate market? Week by week breakdown. I'm Sean Reddy, Keller Williams Reddy Group, and we're bringing you the latest edition of our Greater Denver Metro real estate market breakdown, next level stats. This is an in-depth view of everything that's happening in the Denver metro market through the lens of potential home sellers is how we look at it. And let's get right into it. First of all, I want to thank our friends at First American Title. They're the ones who put these reports together. You can see these are very, very in-depth, going back span of multiple years. But we're in 2023. We're now into the second week of August. So let me zoom in here. Let's show you what the market is looking like right now. So the first thing that we look at is this odds of selling column here. And backing up a second, you see the different colors. If you've seen this before, you know that the reds, the deep reds and the oranges, that indicates heat in those metrics if you are a potential seller. Opposite end of that spectrum are these darker blues into the greens and yellows. That indicates cooling as compared to previous weeks. So if you are, potentially buying a home, you want to see these blues and these greens because that means the power is swaying into your favor for some of these metrics. Okay, now let's get into it. First column, odds of selling. So relationship between supply and demand. When the demand increases well above the supply, you see those odds of selling go up into where we maxed out this year, about 67% in the middle part of April, mid 60s to high 60s, pretty much all through March and April and into May, where it started cooling off from there. And we're now sitting at 51.5%, which is near the 2023 low. So not great if you're a seller. Your odds of selling have gone down to the lowest part of the year, almost the lowest part of the year. Lowest week was the New Year's week, basically. Let's take a look at why. So average daily active listings crept up over 5,800 this week. That means on any given day, there are 5,800 plus properties on the market. You can see where we've been, kind of low points in the, 35-ish hundred range early on in March, and it's steadily gone up from there. So more and more properties on the market. If you're a seller, you'd be competing with. If you are a buyer, obviously that's great because you have more to choose from. New listings, you can see we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight weeks of over 1,000 listings on the market. Not the high point of the year yet, pretty well average when you look across the board here. Just shade under 1,100 new properties hit the market last week. Back on market, you can see that number has been pretty high lately. That means that properties that go under contract have been falling out of contract at a higher rate. So that's certainly something to watch. Can be cold feet, can be, more choices pop up, causing a buyer to exit a contract. Expired and withdrawn, those measures are properties that expired means it sat on the market through the duration of its listing period, came off the market unsold. Withdrawn could mean that they just changed their mind, decided not to sell. Pending sales, this is the biggest one for me, this and the odds of selling. Pending sales, you can see at the peak around, late April, early May, we were into the 1,100, almost 1,200 per week range. Now we've been in the 900s for 3 straight weeks. So less homes going under contract, more homes coming to market, and more homes staying on market. So again, if you're a seller, it's not what you want to see necessarily. Not that it's all bad. We'll get into that. If you're a buyer, that is what you want to see. And most people are doing both at the same time. Obviously, everyone needs a roof over their head. So kind of neutral if you are selling a home to buy a home. Doesn't really matter. You're buying and selling in the same market, most likely. Okay, closed properties took a significant drop. Yeah, that tends to happen the beginning of each month. For whatever real estate law that's out there that says closings need to happen at the end of the month, you can see where the big boosts are at the end of each month. So naturally we see a drop off the following week. Predictive MSI, that stands for months supply of inventory. 1.4 months. You can see we've been in that 1.5 to, I'm going to say 1.2 to 1.5 for the better part of 2 months here. And what that means is that if nothing new hit the market, given the current sales pace, it would take 1.4 months for all homes to sell out, those 5,800 plus homes that are on the market. Now, Obviously, that's in blue because that is cooled down from previous weeks. Yet, when we look at on the grand scheme of things, that is incredibly low. It takes 4 to 6 months to see what's known as a balanced market, and it takes over 6 months to be what's known as a buyer's market. So still very heavily into seller's market territory, meaning much more demand than supply that's out there. And you can see we would need 25,000 properties immediately to hit the market to balance that out. All right, I'm going to skip over here to total number of showings. This is one of the leading measures of the real estate market. When showings are down, that means that contracts will be down in the weeks to come. When showings are up, typically that means the opposite. So showings have been fairly steady here. You can see we took a drop off, what was that? Early in July. Naturally, we got the 4th of July. And it's been over 12,000 showings per week ever since then. So pretty steady there. Showings per listing. So you take those 5,800 properties that are on the market, you divide those 12,000 showings by those. That's 2.1 showings per listing. Obviously, some are going to show more than others. And the average buyer this week saw 13.3 homes before going to contract. You can see that number has been fairly steady. Median days on market, so the homes, what was it, 934 homes that went under contract, their median days on market was 13. So you can see properties are still selling very, very quickly, much more so than the beginning part of the year, yet twice as long as the middle part of the year so far, so March, April, that time frame. 34% of properties listings on the market decreased their price, and the average price reduction remained around $41,000 or 5.3%. So to sum all this up, I'm going to zoom out here. You can see where these reds and oranges are. The hotter months of the year to be a seller were obviously earlier on, March, April into May. And we're kind of into this, what's I would consider a traditional dead zone as kids are going back to school. Obviously, properties are hitting the market and selling. It's just not the frenzied pace that we saw in March, April, and May. And we do have all the data from previous years too, so we can compare. Not going to get into that on this video. Yet, if you do want to break this down with me, give me a shout, reach out, send us a direct message because I can geek out over this stuff all day long. And until next week, Sean Reddy, Keller Williams Reddy Group, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Love to see you on this feed every single week as we make these videos and many, many more. Thanks so much. We'll see you.